Tomorrow, Oakland could move closer to closing what's known as the Duplex loophole. A ballot measure could make it more difficult to evict tenants living in duplexes and triplexes. KPIX Susie Steimle explains how realtors and landlords are fighting the proposal.
It would be really hard for me to stay in Oakland if I moved.
Mark Hammond is a singer-songwriter living in a duplex in West Oakland. He's from the UK and has been living in this rent-controlled apartment for the past 7 years. Now his landlord is trying to kick him out.
Yeah, there's been various forms of intimidation.
Consistent construction and threats of eviction are just a few examples of the intimidation Mark says he's dealing with. This is not an uncommon story. Mark's landlord knows a vacant home is worth more.
They're listing it for $700,000, possibly to $720 or $730. If it's vacant, they can list it from $850 upwards.
Even the real estate agents are promoting owner move-in evictions as great short-term investments.
Mark's now adding his voice to dozens of Oaklanders fighting for tenants' rights. Specifically, he wants to see the city close the duplex loophole so that whoever buys Mark's duplex can't kick him out immediately. Right now, they legally could.
Closing the duplex loophole is something that would need city council support to become a ballot measure in November. It's something that the council has taken up before in 2016, and it didn't go through. It's facing tough opposition this time, too.
Oakland is dealing with an economic crisis that's beyond our making and our doing. And people really need to see that as it is.
Councilmember Lynette McElhaney says tenants' rights groups haven't convinced her closing the loophole is necessary.
And I believe that we're going to see the proposals over the next few weeks. I have not been working closely with those coalitions.
But she does appear to have a closer relationship with the real estate lobby. City records indicate McElhaney has received more than $52,000 in campaign contributions from real estate and landlord lobbyists since 2015. More than double any other members of city council. Last week, she introduced an ordinance that would offer landlords who own 5 units or less a loan from the city to pay evicted tenants relocation. She says her ordinance will prevent long-standing African-American homeowners from having to sell their properties.
Tenants' rights advocates, as you know, say this incentivizes eviction.
I think they're wrong. The eviction is going to happen. We have so many African-American homeowners. We saw this in Berkeley, for example, right, who lost their properties in protection of tenancy, and I think that black ownership matters.
Councilmember McElhaney told me earlier today that this would help the African-American population stay here. What do you say to that?
Wow, that's interesting. This used to be Eastmont Mall.
John Jones III is a third-generation Oaklander and tenants' rights advocate.
We were very concerned when we found out that there was an effort to take some of the money that was used for anti-displacement to fund this project. We're like, no, we need every penny, every nickel, every dime going out to help tenants who face evictions, because last time we heard that number as high as $1,000 a month.
John's activism is deeply rooted. He's formerly homeless and says displacement is a direct pipeline to homelessness.
We do not want to intentionally or unintentionally provide an incentive for landlords to evict tenants.
So how could you guarantee that this would be closely watched?
Well, this one has to be closely watched because you have to come through the city to certify that you meet all of the criteria, which are pretty strict and very narrow.
Yeah. Mark says he's living proof that landlords will count on you not knowing your rights. And if he hadn't been able to afford a lawyer, he wouldn't be telling his story right now.
I think I would have just accepted some nominal amount to move out, probably. Just kind of out of fear that I wouldn't get anything, like they said, yeah.
Susie Steimle, KPIX 5.
We reached out to Mark's landlord and real estate lobbyists multiple times to schedule an interview for this story. They were not able to provide someone to comment.